Yes, it's lava lamp 2328.
Lava lamp 2328. Well, let's just do all of them, and then, yeah.
INN will return after a word from our sponsor.
The ongoing saga of Gage Blackwood took a frightening twist this morning when the agent of the Deep Time Unit broke house arrest to jump 9 years back in time. Fortunately, the illicit time jump was detected, and he was immediately apprehended by Agent 8 of the Temporal Protectorate. Although it's still not clear how and why Blackwood obtained the TSA jumpsuit, Temporal Security Agency officials did say that no distortion ripples have yet been detected, and that there is no reason whatsoever to believe that Blackwood has altered history in any way. Our Lisa Long has a report from TSA Administrative Headquarters.
He'll stare like that until you click something.
In a strange turn of events that can only be described as unimaginable, the highly decorated
Yeah, we did watch
Gage
all of this.
Blackwood, better known as Agent 5 of the Deep Time Unit.
Prosecuting attorney Phil Stevens alleges that Agent 5 intentionally altered the past in 4 of the 10 time zones to which he had been sent for research purposes, his only apparent motive being personal gain. In so doing, Agent 5 would have knowingly violated Temporal Security Agency ethics, as well as the law. As temporal sabotage in any form is considered the worst possible crime against humanity, Stevens is aiming for the maximum allowable sentence. The burden of proof lies on the prosecution. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Gage Blackwood was responsible for the distortion ripples. There is strong evidence working against Blackwood, including both computer records that place him at altered historical locations and contraband that was discovered in his locker. But the evidence alone is not enough to ensure a conviction. With this in mind, prosecuting attorney Stevens has directed his questioning toward eliminating other possible explanations for the ripples. Witnesses for the prosecution have included Agent 2 of the Temporal Protectorate, the TSA's chief technician, and the designer of the circuitry for the jumpsuit.
So the Deep Time Unit is the part that we're a part of. There's the kind of the enforcement arm of the TSA, and then there's the research part of it. And so we are a part of the research part, and the Deep Time Unit is that chunk. So along with the development of the Time Displacement Unit came a rethinking and restructuring the Temporal Security Agency. Gone were the days of historical security relying entirely on one agent using one machine. That would be from Journeyman Project 1. It's a giant room that you go sit in. Now, multiple agents had the freedom to move through time at will, and several years had gone by without incident, changing the prevailing opinion on the security of time travel. In 2326, the decision was made to expand the Temporal Security Agency to include a historical research team. This team, self-dubbed the Deep Time Unit, is comprised of 4 individuals who are each responsible for researching and recording various periods of history. The 3 other restructured units of the TSA include the Temporal Protectorate, the Maintenance Team, and Management. The Temporal Protectorate, as before, is responsible for safeguarding history from sabotage. The upkeep of files and equipment is the responsibility of the Maintenance Team, and Management oversees all TSA operations. Management? Get my Minnesota out there. I'm just going to check out... Where did it go? The Time Displacement Unit, which is the jumpsuit. That's what we're sitting on. That's a picture of our suit. So the jumpsuit has, as had been expected, Earth's incorporation into the symbiotry of peaceful beings brought with it astounding advances in technology. These advances aided the TSA in developing the new generation of time machines. The Time Displacement Unit, or jumpsuit, incorporates an entire time machine into a mobile, self-contained suit. The greatest advantage of the jumpsuit is that it can forge its own null time tunnel from from one location to another, eliminating the need to return to the present between jumps. This new technology rendered Pegasus obsolete, and in August of 2325, the time machine was dismantled. Pegasus was, of course, the original time machine that I was just talking about. A null time tunnel is the process of time travel involves... What the heck? The process of time travel involves creating a breach in the space-time continuum through which the traveler can cross. Within this void, which is called a null time tunnel, the laws of space and time do not apply. Entering or exiting a null time tunnel causes a sudden change in the amount of matter present in the universe at that moment. The result of this change is a startling display of arcing energy known as the displacement effect, which is what we see whenever whenever we jump. It creates this kind of visual thing around us. And Pegasus, this is from Journeyman 1, that's the main time machine, which was the world's first time machine, known as Pegasus, was the brainchild of part-time historian and full-time physicist Elliot Sinclair. In 2311, after seeing Sinclair's time-bending experiments, the government contracted him to build a full-scale operational time machine. The purpose of this device was to explore our past, as well as to discover the truth behind many disputed historical events. Pegasus was dismantled in 2325 after the introduction of the time displacement unit, which we just read about, which integrated a fully functional time machine into a mobile suit, not to be confused with a Gundam, which, funnily enough, Presto actually worked on a Gundam game called The War for Earth, I think is what it was called, Gundam 0079, something like that. These are just extra little tidbits from your friendly fox.
In the absence of an alibi or any evidence proving Agent 5's innocence, defense attorney Sandra Gallagher will be setting out to show, through the testimony of character witnesses, that it is not likely Mr. Blackwood committed the crime. If the defense can elicit some doubt of Blackwood's guilt, he will go free. Witnesses for the defense will include Agent 3 of the Deep Time Unit, Agent 8 of the Temporal Protectorate, the Commissioner of the Temporal Security Agency, and Agent 5 himself.
I believe we read about the temporal... Right, the Protectorate was in that article.
In the absence, the defense has not yet had the opportunity to present...
Wait a minute, yes, okay.
The defense has not yet had the opportunity to present its case. However, we have contacted both the Chief Technician and Commissioner of the TSA to ask them their feelings on the arrest of Gage Blackwood. Neither Agent 3 of the Temporal Security Agency nor Mr. Blackwood could be reached for comment.
So here are the interviews.
With us now is William Doughton, the TSA Chief Technician. He joins us live from the Temporal Security Agency Administrative Headquarters. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Doughton.
Thank you, Mark.
You've known Gage Blackwood for many years, and I understand that the two of you are good friends. Do you think he's guilty?
Absolutely not. The thought that he could be guilty never even crossed my mind. I mean, friend or no, here you've got someone who's dedicated his whole life to protecting history and now stands accused of violating it. That's ridiculous. And if you don't believe me, look at his record. The man's a decorated hero. You can't overlook that fact just because it doesn't fit neatly into the story the prosecution's trying to sell.
Isn't it true you testified that no one else made a time jump to any of the altered historical locations?
No, actually I testified the scanners didn't register anyone making a time jump to those locations. But computers are only as intelligent as their human programmers. Now, I believe it's possible that someone could have shadowed Agent 5's jumps. If a second time traveler were to make a jump within a few seconds of the first and to the same location, the chronolog scanners probably wouldn't recognize it as a second jump.
Have you been able to test this theory?
No, not yet. It's too dangerous. If two people were to travel through the same null time tunnel and land in the exact same place, well, their matter would mix and that would kill them.
And you believe that someone found a way around this?
It's possible, yes.
Okay, well, thank you for your insights, Mr. Doughton.
Interesting.
I have with me now Commissioner Jack Baldwin of the Temporal Security Agency, who's coming to us live from TSA Administrative Headquarters. Commissioner, thank you for joining us. Now, the first and most obvious question is, are you confident in your arrest of Gage Blackwood as the perpetrator of this crime?
We had to arrest Agent 5 because of the evidence, not because we think he did it. There was an obvious transgression. Someone was responsible for it, so we arrested the person to whom the evidence pointed. Now it's up to the courts to determine whether or not he's guilty.
So you believe he's innocent?
Absolutely. I've known Gage ever since he joined the TSA. In fact, I'm the one who recruited him. Gage Blackwood is a member of an endangered species. Gage Blackwood is a hero. He has put his life on the line many times to prevent this exact thing from happening. There's absolutely no way he would have abused his position at the risk of a single life, let alone history as we know it. Now, it just doesn't make sense.
Mr. Blackwood has been an agent for quite a while now, 13 years, I believe. Is it possible that the temptation just became too great for him to bear?
No. Gage is as committed to his duty now as he was back when he apprehended Elliot Sinclair. He was, and he is, our finest agent.
Okay, let's assume for a minute that he did do it. Knowing that he would be facing life imprisonment on Vega Thalon, do you feel that he would plead guilty?
First of all, it's a moot point because he didn't do it. But, presuming he did, knowing Gage, I'd say he had a damn good reason. And he would have confessed immediately. He wouldn't have pretended innocence, not for 1 minute. Bottom line, Gage Blackwood is no criminal. Gage Blackwood is a hero.
Okay, Commissioner, it looks like we're out of time. Thank you.
That guy just seems so sweaty. I don't know. The guy that was the commissioner, I don't know.
If Blackwood is indeed guilty, he has altered more than just the past. The future, too, will likely feel the results of his actions. The Deep Time Unit will probably be discontinued before ever realizing its full potential. But there is an even greater issue at stake. That is whether the Temporal Security Agency itself is more of a risk than a safety measure. Many feel that it should be shut down and everything related to time travel destroyed. Others argue that the technology has already been invented, so there's nothing stopping it from being reinvented for the wrong reasons. So in their opinion, the Temporal Security Agency must remain operational to safeguard against future acts of historical sabotage.
That's all we're going to do for this one. See you in the next supplemental. I hope that you enjoy all this background. There's a lot of different deep story aspects to this whole game that you don't have to know, but I think it's really cool to be able to flesh out more of this game. So, see ya.